everyone. Hey, congratulations on the new film Last Summer of Nathan Lee.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. It's great to meet you too.
Hey, it's terrific to meet everyone. It's a terrific coming of age story that we kind of need right now. But I'll throw the first question to Quentin is where the original story came from.
Well, I was going to high school in Montreal, and in grade 11, actually, one of my classmates did have brain cancer. He went through one surgery, got his head shaved, and then he never came back after the summer when we go to grade 12. So I'm assuming he died in the summer. And that story just kind of like always stayed with me. And I was wondering, like, well, if I were him and I was, 16, 17, what would I want to do before I die? And then eventually 30 plus years flash by in 2020. And then another high school friend of mine also suddenly died of brain cancer. And then in a few months, it's gone. So then I was thinking like, okay, well, I kind of want to make a movie. I want to make a teen movie. And I kind of want to make a found footage movie, kind of like mockumentary kind of thing. So can I maybe turn this kind of the story about this kid dying of brain cancer into a sex comedy that's in like all the porkies and Zapped and things that I like? And then I reach out to my writer friend Dennis Escobedo and ask him, what do you think? We want to tackle this thing. Plus, I want to cast Harrison and Natasha in it as the leads. And what do you think? And he ends up writing the script, and we got to make the movie.
So Harrison and Natasha was thought to be in the movie right from the get-go.
Yeah, because I worked with Harrison already when he was 16 on a short film, and we've been in contact. And I worked with Natasha also on a documentary just like a couple of years ago. So they were kind of on my mind. It's like, I didn't want to go out. I don't like to cast things in general. I just like to write things for things and just cast them and make it happen, kind of thing.
Most excellent. Sorry, Harrison. Sorry, Natasha, for talking like you weren't in the room. But Harrison, Natasha, tell us what drew you to Last Summer of Nathan Lee. Why did you want to be part of this?
When I am picking projects, I generally it's the writing for me. So if it's a good story and good writing, and if it's people, the people too. If it's people that I would want to work with, then I say yes. I enjoyed working on Searching for Anna May Wong with Quentin, and it was just such a good coming of age story that makes you laugh, makes you cry, pulls at your heartstrings. Lorelei just made me think of my high school days. I went to a boarding school for theater in the middle of nowhere in Michigan. I thought it would be a really fun way to explore like that old past version of myself as well.
Harrison?
And similar to Natasha, I worked with Quentin when I was 16 on my very first short film in Vancouver. And the biggest reason I wanted to do this was because of Quentin, like working with him again on my first lead in a feature. So it kind of came full circle. But for me personally, as a consumer, coming of age movies are my favorite type of movies. I've always wanted to do one. And, it's very, very rare to see an Asian male lead in a coming of age movie. So that was really special. But yeah, like the script came along really well. Dennis did a great job with it. And it was just honestly right place, right time. Like it was the thing that I really needed in my life then.
Also, Quentin told Dennis to write the role for me. So how do you say no to that? Like someone like gives you like a custom lead role.
I did write this role for like my dance teacher, whom I won't name who, and I wrote this script for her. And then when I was breaking, I just gave it to her, said, hey, do you want to play this role? And then she'd never gone back to me. And I was like, wow, well, it's like she must not like the script. Then I ended up casting somebody else, and then years later she started getting to acting, and she played a side character mom in one of my features I produce. So I just thought it was so ironic. But to answer your question, no, it doesn't happen all the time, because sometimes I create this role for three people. People think I'm completely crazy.
No, I actually enjoy it. I mean, Harrison brought a good point. There's not a lot of, Asian lead roles out there, and this is mostly an Asian cast, which I'm a little biased, so I like it. Now, Quentin, tell us about filming it in a found footage, or I like to say this was much more of a documentary style. Was it challenging for you, or was it easier to film it like this in this method?
I think it's challenging for me in the sense that I've never really done a found footage movie before, even though I was a big fan of the whole genre, and I felt like I missed the boat after they made Blair Witch Project. Like, oh my God, I just always and then so I just always want to make a found footage movie, like a mockumentary. I don't know why they call it found footage, honestly, but because as an experimental filmmaker, found footage movies are actually made with the footage you randomly found. So it could be like, a scrap of film here, a scrap of film there, and you cut it together. And that is what traditionally in experimental film we call a found footage movie. But somehow the media kind of came up with, okay, well, let's call mockumentaries actually found footage movie, because one of the first mockumentary, which is a comedy also, believe it or not, and it's got Rob Reiner movie, about the band. You don't know? Oh my God, what is that movie called? One of the first mockumentary was called, it's about a band going on a tour. It's by Rob Reiner. Do you guys know?
No.
This is Spinal Tap, 1984. So that was basically the first mainstream mockumentary comedy. And then nobody's ever made anything like that. So I guess like, oh, I'm going to do my own teen comedy. And so but I want to make it in that way, because I think that it also works really well for comedy in some way. And other than This is Spinal Tap, which is a classic.
Yes, I've heard of the movie. I personally have never seen it before, but
What?
sorry.
This is Spinal Tap. This is like it's the classic.
I will have to add that to my list. Harrison, Natasha, tell us about the chemistry. I love the film because of the friendship trio. Rather than just having like two friends, it's really a story about three friends. In this case, tell us about the chemistry and the development between your characters with all three people.
I just really love that this was one of those casts and environments where everyone got along so well. That doesn't always happen on set, but yeah, from the first table read, the first time we met in person, yeah, everyone there was good chemistry, because I think above all else, everyone really like cares about each other in this particular cast.
Yeah, I think, none of us knew each other before filming. Like, I didn't know Natasha until our first table read, and Matt came on a little bit later. And I think for a film like this, where, especially like between like Nathan and Dash, like they're supposed to be lifelong best friends. And like Matt and I met a couple of weeks before filming. And I think one of the beautiful things is, like Natasha said, like everyone was just so generous, and everyone was such a joy to work with, that it made it really easy. But we also, we had a rehearsal in a black box theater a week before, where we got to actually meet in person. A bunch of us actually met up for like a game night right before too. So we actually, took the time to, spend time as people outside of filming, just to get to know each other and get more comfortable with each other, so that when we went on set, it wasn't like, hey, I'm meeting you for the first time, we're supposed to be best friends, like let's do it. So because of that, and with how everyone was so willing to spend time together during the shoot, it made it I think it made the chemistry shine a lot more in the film.
Speaking of game night, one of the scenes has that all those shelves with those games in the background. It almost like you guys were filming in a game store. Was it one of those games in the shelves you guys played?
The
It
movie?
wasn't.
No, I don't think so. It was one of Dennis Escobedo. He's the writer. He gave us one of his games.
Yeah, what was it called again? It
I
was
don't know.
some like, it was obscure. It
It
was
was
like,
crazy that game though. We're like fighting for our lives, and we have to like build a fort or a fire or something. I don't. It was fun. I don't remember the exact details.
The exercises that for you guys that have to go through. Harrison, tell us about your acupuncture adventures in this film.
yeah. It was honest. It was actually the very first scene that we filmed in the whole shoot. We went to the acupuncturist's office, and we actually had her perform acupuncture on me. But for me, it was it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, because growing up, one of my uncles was a pretty big acupuncturist in San Francisco. So we would get acupuncture done, a few times a year as kids. So it was all very familiar, but I hadn't had it done in like over a decade. So it was kind of nice being back into that space.
And Natasha, I know you did a little bit of theater, but your quoting of plays and reenacting those, how fun was that, or was that actually challenging for you?
I went to boarding school and university for theater. I went to the Interlochen Arts Academy and USC for a BFA in acting, and I had to for my auditions for universities, I had to learn like 10 or 12 different monologues as part of that like BFA acting audition so I felt like it was just me like going back in time and doing that work again. I mean, I felt like it wasn't particularly difficult because I already had that skill in my arsenal. um but I mean, it was fun, like just like working on like juicy characters, like David Henry Hwang, and working on Shakespeare again. So yeah, just good vibes and liked the process.
Most excellent. Well, let me wrap it up with one last question here. How fun was it to do the end, the conclusion of the film with a wedding scene?
I think it
Uh,
was, oh, go ahead, Quentin.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it was really fun because it was shot mostly chronologically, so that was one of the last things that we shot, and we had all this build up to the scene of us having explored our characters for all these days, and it was bittersweet in a way too, because it was like, oh no, like we're almost done filming as well. But yeah, it was just great. It was like the entire cast was there. We had a bunch of extras, and um it was just a really nice ribbon at the end of the whole process.
I think the preparing for the wedding scene was particularly fun. I remember like making the red velvet or I don't know, we had like red velvet cake materials, and like the scene where everyone's cleaning and Dash is just kind of like knocking a sponge against the door and not having it. I don't know, that just everything leading up to the wedding and the wedding scene were just particularly enjoyable for me.
I was actually very stressed because it's the scene that has the most people in it, and we have a very small crew. So I didn't find it to be fun, but I find it to be challenging and slightly stressful. But yeah, but I had more fun doing the threesome scenes and the more intimate scenes and the dance scenes and things like that.
Oh, that's right. There are those threesome scenes, but this is the 21st century, I guess, and we have to get used to
The
that.
threesome scene was like challenging for me. I was like the, the opposite way around. It's like there's so many moving parts in the threesome scene.
Wow. And for you, Harrison, what was it challenging too, just like Natasha?
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging in terms of the choreography, and like, we had like mic packs on and everything, but it was fun in that, like, everyone was very comfortable with each other, and we had a really great intimacy coordinator as well who helped us through the process.
Most excellent. Well, everyone, hey, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us about Last Summer of Nathan Lee. It's a wonderful coming of age story that or comedy drama that everyone should actually watch. So thank you very much. Let's make more of these type of movies.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.